Okay, just running through a couple more examples with translations. So you're familiar with all the different forms a problem could be given to you and how you want to write your answer. All right, so looking at problems 8 and 9, write a rule for the translation of a quadrilateral PQRS to quadrilateral. This is called, or you read this as P prime, Q prime, R prime, S prime. This is the pre-image. This is the image. So it doesn't say how to write the rule for the translation. I could write it in vector form, component form, or ordered pair notation. I'm actually going to do a couple of different ways so you're familiar with all the different ways. As usual, always make sure you pay attention to the directions. So on number 8, here's the image, pre-image. This is the image, P prime, Q prime, R prime, S prime. So you really could just look at one point and the translated point, like Q and Q prime. This right here would actually be vector form. The horizontal component is 4. The vertical component is 3. So if I write it in component form, as I mentioned, the horizontal component is 4. The vertical component is 3. And whoops, caught myself here. I even did it incorrectly to begin with. But you can double check to make sure that's correct by looking at another translated point like R to R prime. Should be the same movement as from Q to Q prime, and it is horizontal component 4, vertical component is 3. So this is vector form right here. This would be the same vector. It's just in a different location. The horizontal component is still 4, the vertical component is 3. But if I wanted to write it in ordered pair notation, I would start like this. You start with your pre-image. The coordinates would be x, y, and the movement is x plus 4, y plus 3. So it's all 3 different forms here. Vector form, component form, and then ordered pair notation. And then you could probably do problem 9, maybe try that one on your own. And then on 10 and 11, it says use the translation. Here, a problem is given to you in ordered pair notation. And then it says what's the image of point J. So you're just translating one single point. But the image, since this is the pre-image, should be J prime. The rule is whatever the x coordinate is, add 6. So the x coordinate of J, 4 plus 6 is 10. Should be pretty easy. As far as the math goes, again, it's just all the new notation that you need to get used to. And then the y coordinate, the rule for finding J prime, the y coordinate, you subtract 3. 5 minus 3, 2. So those would be the coordinates of J prime. Maybe pause real quick, try problem number 11, and then we'll go over the answer. Okay, you have to be careful about problem number 11. You're given, in this case, the image, not the pre-image. This is the pre-image on number 10, J. Now you're given R prime. That's already translated. So we really need to work backwards here. You're finding the coordinates of R. So instead of adding 6, you really want to do the opposite operation or inverse operation. Subtract 6, negative 6, because negative 6 plus 6 is 0. And then instead of subtracting 3 from the y coordinate, again, do that inverse operation. Add 3, negative 2. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So this is the pre-image. This is the image. As usual, always be very careful about their directions and what you're given. There's not an example of it here, but we do need to go over one more term. That's a composition of transformations. Composition of transformations is more than one transformation. What we've taken a look at so far is just a single translation, but you can translate a point more than once. That would be a composition of translations. Okay, once we actually do get into other transformations, you could translate a point and then reflect it, or vice versa. You could reflect a point and then translate it. That would be a composition of transformations, or any other combination of all the different transformations. 2 rotations, or a rotation and a reflection, and so on. I'm not going to go over every single combination, but that's a composition of transformations.